I talk to a spirit. She comes in my dreams.
What is the path to awakening supposed to look like? To feel like? How do you know if you are on it? We ask these very sacred and sometimes vulnerable questions to many different women from all walks of life. A conversation that needs to be shared and heard. I'm Jo Hendy.
I'm Amanda Parker.
And welcome to the Girl Awakening podcast. Good morning, Amanda. We are amazing. We are amazing.
Oh, good morning, Jo.
It feels like there is a major shift in the air.
Well, firstly, it's awesome just to the two of us. We're minus our guest. We are the guests today. We're going to just kind of like bring you a bit of the Girl Awakening, but foundation. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like people have been talking around tidal waves again, and I feel like it's an energetic tidal wave is kind of what we've been talking around in this space the last week or 2 weeks or so.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
300 years.
Oh, yeah. Well, we did a post yesterday on our socials around, she had a beautiful piece of art where it said around it can seem like it takes decades for something to happen, and some weeks decades happen in a week, sort of thing, and it's definitely that, isn't it?
Absolutely. For my little journey in the last 3 weeks, it's definitely felt like everything you've just said.
Yeah.
A tidal wave, a decade in a week or in 3 weeks. We're going to sit today and just chat about, the two of us, about what we've been going through, and because for me personally, I feel like I've been through. The best way to describe it is I feel like I've been uprooted, like completely uprooted. Yeah. Physically, spiritually, emotionally. I'll start from the beginning, and I'm just going to share very openly about what's been happening for me, because it's been quite huge for me personally. I set out to go. I'd organised to go to Melbourne for my mum's 80th birthday. And I was super excited about. I always get excited about going home because lately I've been having some really beautiful connections with my family, close family members, and I love every time I go home, and I just feel so much more love for my immediate family, more than ever, and appreciation. So anyway, I was going home for my mum's 80th, and I woke up and felt a little bit weird, but I'm one of these people that just puts everything to the side. Especially when I'm feeling sick.
Or when you're on a mission, when you've got things to do.
There's no time to be sick.
You just get on with the thing.
Yeah. I'm definitely not one to play the victim role when it comes to sickness. And in saying that, I'm also like, if someone's sick around me, I'm like, get up. So I'm not very
You're not Florence Nightingale.
No. And that is reflective in myself as well. So
it's nothing personal. It's like what you apply for your own energies and well-being, you apply to others.
Absolutely,
as well.
Yeah. Which is so funny in hindsight. Yeah. So anyway, I woke up feeling a little bit unwell. Didn't think much of it. Was going down to Victoria to spend a week with my family, or actually 4 days with my family. So by the time I got to Melbourne, 2 hours later, I was like quite ill. And my sister was picking me up, and I was waiting in the freezing cold, which was okay. I was prepared. Got in the car with my sister, and I said, I don't feel good. And she said, it's probably just and I was like, yeah. But I knew deep down that something wasn't right. So got home, I still call my home. Even though I've been living in the Gold Coast for 30-something years. I get home and I'm not well. And so fast forward like 24 hours and I'm basically in bed, half dead.
And for those of you who are wondering, no, it's not the CBD.
No.
It was just, anyway, just to take that one out of the picture.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So basically I had influenza B, which apparently was going around. And it's quite hectic. It's like a very, very, very bad dose of the flu. So my body completely gave up on me, and in every way. I felt like the life had been sucked out of me, literally.
And those really bad movies where they try to take your soul, like basically.
Yes, that's
your
what it
life
felt
force.
like. Yeah. I couldn't move. I couldn't eat. The only thing I could do was drink water. That's the only thing I could do. And I don't get sick that often, but when I do, I go down hard, and I went down hard. So my family were all completely concerned and wanted to take me to the hospital, and and I'm like, no, I'm dying, but I'm not going to the hospital. So funnily enough, now when I look back, I'm laying in my old bed, which is just so ironic that I grew up in. I get emotional when I think about that. In the room that I grew up in with my mum completely looking after me, which was just so beautiful. And, I literally had to surrender. So I was supposed to come home 4 days. I couldn't walk. That's how sick I was. So
you missed the party.
I missed the party, by the way, the 80th. Missed the 80th completely. Couldn't have any visitors because we were worried that it was contagious. So I laid in my bedroom that I grew up in for 7 days, completely not able to do anything at all. And not because I wanted to. I couldn't get out of bed. I struggled to have a shower, and if I did, I literally crawled back to the bed because I was so depleted. And now, when I look back, and we've had many chats about it, I completely was uprooted, and I still am. And it's a strange feeling. Yeah,
and you're you sent me a voice memo yesterday and said it's great to hear that sparkle back in your voice. Like there's parts of you that are back, but as you say, uprooted, you're in the void still. You're here, but you're not here. And I mean, physically, you've moved home as well in this space since, and new baby in the family, all those kind of things. There's a lot happening in your life.
A lot of big things. Yeah. So all of that, like Amanda said, we moved from the hustle bustle of
CBD Gold Coast, more or less, or beach Gold Coast.
To out in the country where we're living, way out in the country now, which we're completely surrounded by trees. And Trevor and I were talking about this, and it's just so ironic when you can look back over things, when in hindsight. And Trevor was sick too, by the way. He was home sick, and I was in Victoria sick. Like the same thing, going through our own journey. And then now we had to pack up this ginormous house, and move both while we were sick. And now we're healing, and we're healing out in amongst these trees and this grass and
nature's holding you.
Yeah, it's so wild. It's so wild. And then that full moon that we had last night or the night before, which was so powerful. And there's so many things that are happening, and I've noticed that I've been grasping the past, like the old me, wanting some kind of fulfillment, and it's not fulfilling me. Yeah. And I'm one of these people that loves the gym, loves my Pilates, loves walking, loves working out, loves being active, and there's not one part of me that wants to do any of it.
Well, just having a flashback to when we had beautiful Marina Perry on, and she was saying around her therapy is movement, like if she's getting a bit unsettled in herself, her family or partner will say to her, you need to go out move your body and stuff, and she was referring to the kinetic energy. And I think you're definitely that person who needs to move as well. But in saying that, it's not sustainable to do that all the time. And our biorhythms, our soul needs to rest, isn't it? And there's different things that need to happen within our circadian rhythm, all those kind of things to
so real
allow everything to plug in and support and reset. And
it's like we talk about the new earth and this new earth that we're coming into, and the aspects of that, and we can't move into that without being a new human it's like this is what I've been learning just about myself personally, is you know, just how flat out I was, even talking. Just like talking really fast so I get everything out so everybody can hear what I've got to say.
And, you know, it's a funny
wild.
thing. Sometimes I find myself doing that, and it's getting into the conversation and getting it, you know, being heard and all those kind of things. But it becomes a dynamic, doesn't it? You know, and then saying what you want to say, and then there's something else waiting for you to do. So you just like constantly
one thing after the other.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too that I've been learning, and I know that we've talked about this, is this whole letting go of trying to make things happen or force things to happen, or not even that, but I'm getting forced to let go and trust, which is a tattoo I have on myself. Yeah, it's on the wrong side. Literally let go and trust that everything is in divine order, and that if I only get out of my own way, which I'm getting forced to with this sickness and with my health and with this uprootedness, I'm being forced to literally let go.
Yeah.
That there's no other way but to let go.
And it's... And again, it's that thing where some of the sayings, knowings, wisdom, thoughts that we've had over the years have been always there and always had meaning. But the way that the frequency, the energies, the quantum space of the way that everything is coming together with, I guess we can say, Mother Earth and the cosmic space, and us human beings and spiritual beings in the middle, soulful beings in the middle there of it all, and what you just shared around our physical bodies changing with what a lot of people are talking around with the energy lines and the frequencies and even the gravity on Earth changing, and we're ahead of schedule because the consciousness of mankind, humanity, is
moving so quick.
Yeah, we're all jumping on that train going,
Yeah.
So many are jumping on the train. And the potency of our words, you know, like when you say let go and trust, and you've planned this for a long time. It's been there guiding you, supporting you all this time. But the energy, the frequency of those words are just, it's like, you know, it's like sometimes when you get out of your car and you get electric shock because you're dehydrated, or you shake someone's, you know, touch someone and you get static electricity. There's that energy in things now that is just so
potent.
Yeah, it's freaky but wonderful, and
it's so true.
Yeah, and sinking into it, like you're saying, like the slowing down and sinking into it feels right. Like, you know, it's the doing, but again, we've spoken on this, you know, being present in the moment and not jumping too far ahead, like knowing that this moment is taking where you're going, because you've got a plan, you've got ideas, you know, whether it's work or family or the routine or the, you know, the things that happen in your life, and the you know, what we call the 3D, the everyday.
Yeah.
But that, you know, we've been putting the work in, we've been creating our intentions, we've been asking. That's in motion, and we're honouring it by staying in the present moment.
So true.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm getting just by listening to what your words just now is, it's, you know, we have been doing all this work for so long, and now I go, what for? It's literally, it's not, well, for me, I'm only going to speak for me personally. Don't want anyone else to think that I'm trying to tell anyone, because I'm not. This is just what I've been going through. But it's almost, when I say uprooted and stripped back, it's like, I feel like a lot of the work that I've done, I think I've done all that work, and now I'm realizing that it's so simple.
Yeah.
You know, all of it. It's not what we think. Like the waking up, the spiritual aspect or whatever, or, you know, it's not. For me, it's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like
We're not walking into a theme park.
No.
It's not a theme park. It's literally one tree
That's such a great
in a field with some flowers
Absolutely.
growing around it.
It's so true.
It's sick, simple.
It can be sitting on your own
Yeah.
and just having realizations about yourself, nobody else. It's about taking off all the shoulds and shouldn'ts and couldn'ts and wouldn'ts and haves and have-nots and just sitting in it. It's just very simple.
Yeah. Well, you're actually giving me because often people, and I think Trevor shared this too around getting sick in one of the podcasts that he shared with us the first time around, I'm so tired, I'm over this. We get so busy that it's it's almost like we want to get sick so we can have a break.
Yes.
And I was thinking then, and often that's the thing, we've spoken around with our bodies creating that opportunity for us to stop and reset and really go, well, what is important here? Is that really important? Killing yourself for that?
Yeah.
Or laying yourself waste for that? But then, 7 days in bed being cared for by your beautiful mum and in your childhood space.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a invitation to be where Maxine Therese went in her coma.
Yeah.
And how that was like a different world, like her near-death experience took her into, she was somewhere, she's adamant and has very clear recollections of where she was in that space, which I just, it gave us so much joy to go, wow.
Yeah. No, it's back to that thing about, the story, how we get attached to our story. Yeah. And it becomes something.
Yeah, so there's a little
bug flying around me.
Thanks for being here, but go away.
Yeah. It's like, letting go of the story, allowing yourself to let go of the story, so you're not playing that same game anymore. That's what I was talking about before about trying to grasp the old me, or the one that was, it's like she's there, but she's not there either.
Come on, you can do it. Get up and get out of bed and get on with it.
Yeah, that girl. It's like, no. You just can't do that anymore. It's like you need to just, if I need to rest, I need to rest. And if I don't, then I'm going to force you to rest kind of thing. It's like, that's the feeling. It's like something's more powerful than me inside of me at the moment that's forcing me to do the right thing instead of me, human me, just bang, 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 going one step after the other, forcing in the wrong way.
Yes, yeah, and creating a weakness instead of a strength by honouring what your body is calling you to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
And it's interesting because, there's a lot of people out there bringing through a lot of really... there's a big collective energy around what a lot of channels are bringing through in this space with what's changing in our world, and the meaning between the lines, if you want to say, of what's happening for us and through us. And I feel like, and one of the big things has been around purging and detoxing and allowing yourself to change, and whether it's with foods and habits or recognizing those things that we are perpetuating because of the story, because of our programming, because of the things that we've always done. The other thing too is that whole thing, where we have people in boxes, or where we have ourselves in boxes, which all that does. The one thing that I've learned is that the reason we actually have people in boxes and don't let them out is because we don't want to allow ourselves out. Yeah.
Because
if they change, then we might have to change.
Exactly. Yeah. We might have to change the way we see them, or change the way we see ourselves, or whatever. It's like, everything is a mirror. It's like, like we were saying this morning about me realizing around the judgment I have on people and things, and that I had a giggle when I thought, wow, that's completely the judgment I have on myself.
Yeah.
Where I don't allow this or allow that, or I won't go there or I won't do that. And I'm seeing all these things much more clearly now. And it's just simple. It's nothing to beat myself up over or make myself wrong over. I was going to say, how does that
feel, like, to recognise that? Because it feels like it's a little bit like, oh, I can be kind to myself.
Yeah.
and
it's a nice thing. It's a light thing. It's almost like seeing the human side of me and the being side of me as two separate things.
Yeah.
And having more compassion for the human side of me and more power in the being side. And power, I mean in a good way, as in get off your ass, Joe, and stop doing that, or like pulling myself up.
Yeah.
In areas that
empowered.
Yeah, empowered.
Yeah. Because again, that thing of if we consider some of the thing, I think it's heart math. They've done studies around the energy that our heart puts out, like the vortex that our heart is, the energy that it creates, and what the energy is within our cells with the mitochondria and things like that. Like we can power.
Wow.
I can't remember the exact details, and if I say a city or like it's we're similar to the sun is the basis of we have incredible energy, power, light, frequency within our beings that we do a lot with, but we don't do a lot with. We must waste an incredible amount of energy and power doing things that aren't necessarily in our best interest, or that we just do without mindfulness, I guess you can say, because it's the routine, it's the schedule, it's the day, it's what we've created as our life. But what have we really created?
That was me. I'm just listening to that. It is like I had routine, everything was close by, nothing was really challenging, everything was just there, and I knew what I was doing, where I was going. I'd do this, I'd go for my walk, I'd do this, and all of that has completely gone, all of it, since I've been sick.
Yeah.
And I have no desire to fall back into that again. Like I still want to be healthy, and I still want to, do the things that I enjoy. I'm not saying that I have to give up anything. I'm just noticing how robotic my life was. And even though I was doing things that were keeping me kind of, what do I say, open and learning and all of that, there was another level that I needed to go that I wasn't. And I kept asking, because I would say, be careful what you ask for. I would say, this is before we got this place in the trees. I would talk to the universe all the time and say, please, I really would like this house. I'd pray. I'd say, please, I really want this place. I know it's going to be good for me. Yeah. I'm ready to make the shift. But I don't think I was prepared for
how it unfolded.
What I was asking for starters. Yeah. And that I was going to get it.
Yeah, you absolutely got it. Nailed it. Not in the way that I thought I was going to get it, but in the way that I obviously needed to get it, because I had to be forced. I just say, like, squeezed through the funnel. That's what it felt like. And it was definitely a reflection on, as deep down as you go, as high up as you can go, isn't it? It's like those two opposites of, like, that potential's there to, you get laid out, wasted, can't move, can't do anything except sip water.
Oh my God.
And pee.
Yes, and pee. And even that, there wasn't a lot of that. I don't think I pooed for like 7 days. I was literally holding on to my poo. Sorry about that, listeners. But,
people would probably identify with that.
Exactly. I was going to say something then with what you were saying.
Around the high, as low as
that's right. That's right. So there's a chart that Trevor and I have done this work years and years ago with a company called Freedom Potential, and the guy that created it had a chart. And it was like, you'd get to one level, the top of one level. Yeah. And you break free, and you'd have this amazing, like, realization, and oh my God. And you'd think you'd be free, but all you're doing is getting to the bottom of the next level. And that's what life's about. You never...
Mountains and valleys, swings and roundabouts.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like I'm at the bottom of the next layer.
Which is exciting.
It's exciting, and it's... because we're never there.
Well, and I think that's, I think it's Tibetan samsara is the word for the moment you have perfection or a place of rest. There's chaos.
Yeah.
It's like it gets turned upside down because then you're ready for your next journey, as
Absolutely.
you say. It's,
That's
the process
exactly.
of evolution. And yeah.
And things change, and things that you may have liked before, you may not like now. And, even people can come and go, and you just got to be okay with all of it.
Yeah, and not taking it as a negative, or that you've done something wrong to deserve it. The whole thing around karma, I think, is changing as well, like our relationship with that, because sometimes we'd drop it as a curse on someone. That'll cause karma.
Well, the other thing too,
and then it's
the other thing too is that I was caught in the sickness. I'm just sick. Not seeing it as a whole.
Yeah.
I didn't, in the sickness, I didn't see it as I was going through some kind of awakening, or I was purging or any of that, because I was so sick. I was like, no, I've got influenza B, and it's really bad. And it wasn't till, I've had conversations.
Those labels make things interesting, don't
boxes.
they?
Yeah. And it wasn't until I started having conversations with other people and that were going through similar things that it was like, oh no, there's, you're going through a major shift. And I was like, and I think even then, now when I think about it, when I had that realization, I started coming more out of it, and I started to heal, and then I had to actually start changing my communication too, because instead of being sick and horrible and this is which I was, I had to start saying to myself, I'm healing, I'm on my way out, even though I didn't feel like I was.
Yeah, well, I think, and this is engaging, the soul, the spirit, our quantum energy body, with the power of the words, with the power of the mind, and what is potential and possible. And it's interesting enough, when a person that I've been doing some learning from with, they're also on YouTube and all that sort of thing. He, quantum plant healing, David had a fall that wasn't expected, but he had been asking for some big shifts in his life.
Wow.
And his plants that he was working with said, "Are you sure? This is because this can happen."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, I'm ready." And he had a fall and landed on his feet and broke bones in his feet.
Wow.
Savagely.
Wow.
And wasn't expected to walk for a very long time, if at all, or not walk well. All these things, but the process of being laid out and bringing in his tools of meditation, and he was forced to engage all the things that he believed in to a much deeper level, and be amazed, if you like, at at how his body has healed and where he's standing.
Wow.
Now,
yes.
in his physical body and spiritual body, and I think even Joe Dispenza, is another incredible example on where he is now in the world with what he is supporting with inspiring humanity with. When he was a young man and doing triathlons, falling off his bike, breaking his spine, lying face down in a bed in a hospital, saying, the only option is surgery and it might not be successful, you probably will still be in a wheelchair, and making a decision not to do surgery, to do other things. Yeah. And working with the power of his mind.
Well, you actually,
and so much else, but
oh my God,
as a basis.
That's a beautiful example of not listening to your own intuition, listening to what your body needs, and listening to what you need.
Yeah.
That's what I found too. I have been listening to my own body, and some instances it's like I was saying to you this morning, just even as simple as like drinking almond milk with my coffee for so long, thinking that it's healthy and all that, and who knows? I don't know. Might be healthy, might not be. I do not know. That's the other thing I've come up with too, is that who the hell knows what is healthy and what's not? We can only do
if you
what
make
we know.
it yourself. If you grow it yourself, you make it yourself, or you get it from the farmer down the road and you do it, you know what it is.
Exactly.
It's going to be as good as it can get.
Yeah. So I've gone back to just drinking lactose-free milk and having like my tea in the morning, which I used to have coffee. Like taste bud, everything's kind of change, but it feels like more of an intuitive shift,
Yeah.
more than a, I just don't know what it is. Like my tastes have changed. It's weird. It's like so much has changed, and just by listening to my body and what my body needs, and not just doing it because others are doing it or because
That's what
someone
you do
says
when you wake up. You do this.
Yeah. So it's been a interesting shift, and we definitely need to start listening more. And I think that's part of this new earth, and whatever new stuff's coming through. I mean, we can all feel it in our own way, but it is about listening more to our own bodies.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I know myself, like I haven't had physical sickness, but I have had a lot of callings to sit in different spaces that, by nature of what's been happening in my life the last few years, I've been wanting to do and asking the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
And feeling blessed to be listening instead of, making all the loud noises and not hearing the things, which, I've done a lot in the past. So, yeah, definitely I know that I don't want to, but I can't do the things that I know that don't serve me. Like, even if it's just eating something crappy, I'm just going to say no, because it's not worth, and it's the people pleaser in me wants to just say, okay, it's fine. I'll eat this meal with you, even though I'm sitting there going, on the inside, because it's just not aligning with me, or all these kind of things. And it's a beautiful meal, or it's a this or that, it's made with love, all these things, but it's not what I need to be doing for myself. And listening to those things are reaping such great rewards, like with my intuition, with my sense of things. And it's kind of that thing where you want to pinch yourself and go, is this really how it is now?
Yeah.
And I just, not even when I'm asking myself on those days, I am not going into a process of thinking about it and whether I deserve it or not, or any of that kind of stuff, which I would have done in the past. I'm just going, yes, it is.
It's like a self-nurturing aspect,
fully embracing that. Why wouldn't it be?
And you would do that for those around you in a heartbeat. So why wouldn't you do it for yourself? It's like,
that's so true.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, is a big realization, again, where we've talked around the mirrors and the reflection and things like that, and even what we were saying before around the judgment.
Yeah.
When we just don't even think about how we're caring for others and how we're doing all the things, why wouldn't we do it for ourselves? And that, I think, is a new thing for many of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's not a selfish thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's has been known to be a selfish thing, to be looking after yourself and doing what's right for you, blah, blah, blah. But that's another false narrative that's been taught to us throughout our whole lives.
Yeah.
That look after others before you look after yourself, or whatever.
The other way around is what we do that.
Yes.
But the thing is, like the oxygen mask, you're going to put that on first. Yeah. But, our programming about being a good person is to, do this over here.
Absolutely.
Not in here.
It's just reminded me just something a little bit off centre, is that's happened recently too, is that Charlie, my daughter,
whom you've met,
whom our listeners have met, she's been going through her own shift at the moment, and she's been sharing it with me, and she's been sharing it with me, and it's literally been a complete mirror, right? And my stuff has been coming up around, how can you be going through this when you're only 21? You've got a lot of life to live before. But she's literally going through this exact same thing that I'm going through at 21. And she's so wise, and like I listen to her and I'm blown away. But there is a part of my ego inside of me that goes, that it's almost like wanting to be the mum, and be like, yes honey, instead of, oh my God, that's so amazing. And that's another part of myself that's breaking down, is not seeing her as my daughter, and that she's mine with exclamation marks, or
Yeah.
You know, that I birthed you kind of thing.
So I will have the final say in this conversation.
Yes. It's really interesting. It's like
Yeah.
I've got this little ego devil on my shoulder saying, no, yours is deeper or whatever, you know. It's like, and I'm listening to her and I'm like going, oh my God. So yesterday I just sat and listened to her tell me what she's been going through, and it could be the words coming out of my own mouth, and that whole connection part, you know, blows my mind.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful.
Yeah. And I think this is what, you know, a person we're having a conversation with a lady the other day, and she was saying, which I found it a little bit, I'll say challenging, but also really interesting to consider, where she was talking around the grandmother of Jesus. And I think it's a book, and she was saying it's a book. She was saying it sounds really interesting. But she was saying that the woman, in sharing her story, that she was a collective soul. And it's the first time I've heard this expression as being a collective soul. And I found it quite challenging because I want to be my own soul. One with humanity, but my own soul.
Yes.
You know, this sort of thing.
I can feel that too.
It was so interesting. But I think this is where, like, coming from that space, which I want to explore more, because, again, I think it's that learning that we're embracing in a deeper level of knowing of how we are all one.
Yeah.
Of source, of the fractal, the multifaceted fractals. Those aspects, yes. And what you're talking around with Jali, it feels like that with me. Like, you know, we're moving into our heightened intuition, the telepathy coming through.
Yeah.
You know, the seeing others as ourselves.
Yeah.
In this process of the new earth, and in this process of being more soulful. Yeah. You know, well, it's so exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like, I noticed that too with you and Narelle. It's like you can send me a message and it's like straight there, like right there. And it's like, oh, she sees me. She hears me. She feels me. It's exactly that. And then you can get something from somebody else and it's like, it's just like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. But, you know, you start to see more, and you start to allow that in more too, that, okay, I've got people around me that are completely connected to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. I feel that too, definitely. Yeah. And it's like the message is alive. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like it's rolling with you.
Yeah.
You know, you're not getting left behind, or they're not getting left behind, or that we're all in it together. And the more that we can share the vulnerability or the scary parts, it opens up more space. And
well, I think you were reading the source this morning when we were having a walk, and it was saying about the rawness of being open and no filter. And I think that is saying it in a lot in itself, where we're just going with the feeling and allowing that to be part of our expression, as opposed to the mind coming in. Yeah. And Monica Pema, she did the same thing, mind over matter, mind over heart sort of thing. It's not mind over heart, mind over matter, it's heart over mind. Yeah. And if we're coming from our heart, then we are coming through in that authentic rawness and allowing ourselves to be seen truly.
That's so beautiful, because it is one or the other amping up at the moment, isn't it? Yeah. The mind's amping up as well. There's a lot of shit going down out there that's just not the truth, and you really have to sift through and feel what is, you know, your truth and what's not.
Oh, and just kind of, yes. I mean, wow, that's so big. That's another podcast. Big. And just, I think, you know, it's going to be interesting to watch the theme park play out, you know, and just keep calling yourself back to that field with the tree and the garden. The simplicity, because that's really, if we're not involved in the theme park energetically. Yeah.
They can't touch us.
Well, yeah, and what's the point? That's literally just going to be, you know, the roller coaster's not going to go round. you know, the charades aren't going to kind of be falling on anyone's ears, eyes, or energy fields, and it's just literally going to deconstruct if we're not engaging. So that's exciting.
It's very exciting. Well, it's just exciting times all around, I think. Who know? Like, that's the thing we were talking about before. You don't know what's around the corner. You just got to live in the moment and do what's right. What you were saying before, you know, you just got to do what's right for you, and look after the people around you, and love yourself as much as you can love everyone else.
And I think it was interesting when you weren't well. You, like, when you were talking around, like, feeling the message and things like that, I went to message you so many times just to say something that happened today or this and that, and I kept just getting, no, she's away, let her be, you know, this and that, and it was like, but it was more than like, she's away, let her be. It was like you were away.
I was vacant.
And it was like you just needed to be in that space, like, for whatever you were doing.
It was so wild, because you know what, I couldn't even talk. Yeah, I couldn't even talk. I didn't go near my phone. I didn't go near any devices. I didn't watch TV. I didn't talk. My mind literally just went quiet. Everything switched off in my body. It was so bizarre. Yeah, it was so crazy. And although I was super, like, sick, I was really sick, I was really peaceful.
People pay money to go on those kind of retreats.
Yeah, so crazy. So wild.
Yeah.
And just watching myself fade away, you know. But, yeah, my whole body shut down. It was so bizarre.
And this is also an interesting thing where you get the beauty behind, you know, I mean, there was obviously your sister's a nurse and your mum was there, like, you were in extremely capable hands and care, overseeing your journey. So there was no risk per se for your
I felt
well-being.
very safe,
but in just saying that, no, I didn't need to go to hospital. I wanted to be here and rest in my bed and rest and have everything you needed, which wasn't very much to heal. That's just quite beautiful in itself, isn't it? To give yourself the opportunity not to rush the process, not to do things that were going to create a faster outcome to get back on track again, which, you know, on track.
And in saying that, I had work.
Yes.
Right? I had work, which is my work, you know, and I'm sure a lot of people perceive their work as being very important, and I do too. Yeah. And I was so worried about cancelling my work. So I got to the point where I just knew that I had to, because first of all, there's no way I could get on a plane. So how was I ever going to get back to Queensland to work anyway? So I messaged this one person, and they were so understanding and were like, yes, of course. And then the second job I had, I literally got on my calendar, and it wasn't, I had my dates mixed up.
Oh, wow.
So I wasn't starting for another 2 weeks and so I was just like, oh, thank you, universe.
Meant to be.
It was so meant to be. Like, the little things that I thought were going to be chaotic ended up being absolutely perfect and aligned and divine.
The timing was perfect. And it's so bizarre when you have responsibilities to others, how much stress that creates for not turning up, not showing up. I remember when the old COVID was happening, and you had sent I'll never forget it, it was like such a powerful message. When everything got shut down and we couldn't go anywhere, Amanda sent me a message that said, isn't it great that you don't actually have to make an excuse to not go somewhere? And I laughed hysterically, and I was like, I felt so free reading that message. There was so much freedom in that message. Yeah. Because it was true. True. Showing up whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't have to.
I don't have to. It's like, I mean, once again, we're, you know, we want to do the right thing, and we want to please people, and we want to do all those things, but I mean,
and we have purpose in being places and
absolutely
doing things.
Absolutely, and we do those things, but we should be getting to a place now where if we don't want to do something, it should be okay to say no. You know, I don't know, it's my
I support that. Absolutely. I think because it's really like we all know that it's hard to say no.
Yeah.
Because we kind of some people have so much respect for people who have healthy boundaries and have no issues around saying no. My sister is incredible at saying no, and she always has really good reasons that are not for any reasons against anybody or anything. It's just very weighing up instant no. Yes. No. Yes.
And if it comes from the right place, like
comes
that,
from the right place,
then you don't. You respect it. You're like, okay, no problems.
Yeah, you just really, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's, like to the point where I sent her a gift voucher for her birthday for a treatment because I know she's working really hard and stressed and things. And she literally sent me a message back saying, "What's this?" I said, "It's for you, so you can have some time out." She goes, "Can you get a refund?"
Oh.
And I was like, "This is Tanya. Don't take it personally."
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. She has a process. I was like, "Probably." And then the next thing was, I've organised the refund. They were really nice. Thank you for the thought. It was lovely, but it's actually going to cause me more stress to go and take the time out when I know I've got other things to be done. When I finish this project, I'd love to do that, and maybe with you as well.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, okay.
It's just honest.
I'm not making her do something she doesn't want to do. She's clear.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I love that. I actually like that.
Yeah. Respect.
Respect and clear. And I mean, you can't really fight with that.
No. No.
Anyway.
Not at all. I probably did when I was younger, but now it's like, it's like it is simple. And I think this is a thing around too, like where what you were saying around it is okay to be standing in your space and saying how it is without having to give a lot of reasons or justifications or anything like that, and other people just accept your responses and trust that it's coming from the right place.
Exactly.
Because of, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. I think the only reason people would fire up is usually if it's a lie or you're making up some excuse. Yeah. People feel that, and that's the whole thing too. Is
100%.
You can feel when people are not being authentic.
Trying to misdirect and channel things a different way because it serves a different purpose. And the lie is the means for it to happen.
Yes. Well, this was a lovely little sitting with you, my love, today.
Yes, thank you, gorgeous.
Giving our listeners a little bit of an insight into what Amanda and I have been up to.
Yeah. We've got a lot kind of coming up because I think we should just drop now a little bit. Like we're hoping to squeeze one more little bit of moment together, like with some fun with you.
Before I go away?
Yes, because Madame Jo is
going
hitting the road.
Yeah. I'm going to heal in the country.
Well, deep country.
The deep, deep country, yes. Yeah. Going up north, going to Kakadu and going off grid for about 5 weeks, which will be so
bloody
nice.
Awesome.
It'll be so nice. Yeah, I am going to heal. I know I'm going to heal.
I feel like I feel like where you're going now, what's been happening now is clearing out all the space for what's going to come in while you're away, because I think what you've got planned is amazing and going to be incredible adventure. Yeah. And because of that, in the past we've been
backlogged, which has been great.
We've been backlogged. We've been busy behind the scenes. We've had all the things happening so that you guys all can enjoy, Girl Awakening in your life still. Yeah. Yay, thank you. But in the past we've made Jo sit out in the hot sun and do
which was fun.
And do like
in Darwin.
Which was really fun. Yeah. But this time, because there's going to be a lot going on while Jo's away, it's not going to be as easy to do that, and we don't want to kind of intervene. The process of what you're going away with is just going to unfold in a pretty fabulous way. So we have another soul coming in to sit with us. Yeah. We'll let you know who that is next week when we can squeeze Jo in. But, we will have things continuing on, and I'm sure you will enjoy that too. Yeah. And then watch this space when Jo comes back from her time away. Because I don't know if we'll need microphones. We'll just be sitting here going like this, and you'll hear us. You'll know what we're saying.
That'd be so cool. And if anything does come up where we can tee me up with you and our special guest.
I absolutely think
that
would
be epic.
We're
Yeah.
going to put that in your hands. Thank you for putting that out.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to ask you. I was like,
No, that'll be epic. That'll be so cool.
that'll be, you can just set up the satellite thing and,
Yeah.
tune in. And
Yeah.
it'll be amazing.
That will be.
Yeah.
But thank you to our loyal listeners for hanging around. We know there are thousands of podcasts out there now since we started. Like, that's doubled.
Yeah.
And, we're grateful to our loyal customers, loyal
Yeah.
listeners.
Customers of soul.
Yeah, and we just love doing this. Whether it's one or two people that,
Yeah.
get something out of it, then that's all that matters.
Absolutely. Again, and we've sitting in a space where it's going out there on the airwaves, it's going out there into the ethers, and those one or two people or whoever are listening, it's part of that collective energy that we were talking about earlier, where it's just all weaving in and creating this beautiful energy, frequency that is part of, even my hands when I'm doing this, I can feel the energy.
Yeah.
It's just so real, and we're just so grateful to be a part of that with you and doing something we love so much. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, darling.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Spirit, she comes in my dreams.
Thank you for listening to our Girl Awakening podcast. We are also on YouTube as Girl Awakening. We'd love to see you there with comments on how our guests resonated with you or your own awakening. Please share the love with a like and subscribe while you're there. A blissful thank you to Ksenia Luki, the amazing artist behind our theme song. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.